Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to work with the cluster IP as a first method of your service. Now, in your document, which is on the GitHub, you will be able to see all these items are, stitched together into one piece of part one. So please make sure that you copy the right, stuff. But I've given the proper name for a description so that you don't fall in trap in, copying the opposite thing. So before we go ahead and configure a cluster-based service, we need to have some kind of a deployment on the background, which will enable us to verify the application because something should be running on the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the first one over here. So I'm going to firstly go to OPT software, and then I'm going to create a folder called service. And within this folder, I'm going to create a first file over here, which is going to be Sterling application fixed update production web deployment -v1.yaml. So this is the first version I'm deploying in this file. So I'm just copy pasting this, and as you can see, it's a very default deployment over here, which with readiness probe, and this is named as v1 as well in terms of the deployment. So if I want to do a v2, I can do that v2 simultaneously with this one. So rather than having it upgraded to a different version, I can have both the versions running simultaneously. It is configured with 3 replicas over here, as you can see. So anyways, the default values are, the select values are the same. There's not much change over there in terms of the values there. So whatever I'm going to do, to search for the service, I'm going to use only the app name in terms of searching for, or a selector for my service with the app name as Sterling. So next file I'm going to create is the ClusterIP service one. So this is the file name, ClusterIP service one. In this file, I'm going to create this copy paste the content from that GitHub, and here you have the content over here. Now, as this is a kind service, now here what kind of a service I'm deploying, the name of it is my service one, and here the selector is app Sterling. So to look for the value Sterling under the app as a label. And then here I'm mentioning the port number of a remote and the target port. The target port should be 80 here. But if you want this to fail, you can run it on 8080. So first we will run it with 80, and then we will run it on 8080. Now do remember that if you don't give a type as in anything, that's going to be a cluster IP as a service. So that's a default service which is going to be configured. And if you don't give anything as a type, so if you see on the next video or in the previous videos when we configure the load balancer, we must have given the type as load balancer. So in that terms, it's going to create a load balancer, and it's going to create a node port number for sure. But here this is cluster IP. Let's see what happens. So now that we have configured both these services, let's do the deployment, which is going to be kubectl apply -f. The file name, as I said, there's some issue here about could not be specified : oh, sorry, I think there's a typo there somewhere. Let me edit this file again. So it is looking for a colon here. I'm not sure if I can find that. This one. So it is basically telling you to save and go to the file over here. I copy pasted that one as well. So that must be the reason why it is not working. So let me do export, and then let's run this command. So let me do the export over here as well. And then the export for this, and the export for this as well. Sounds good. So we have pretty much configured the first one, which is your deployment. So let's just run the second one, which is your service, which you just configured. kubectl apply -f. The service is also created now. You can also get this kubectl. So let me do a watch over here. So you have those 3 ports configured. Let's do a watch-n1 for kube CTL. And then here we will be watching for get service, SVC. You can type service or SVC, however you would prefer. So let me expand this a little bit so that you can actually see what's going on here. So this is the Kubernetes default service, so you can ignore it. That is also a cluster IP service over here. So what it is hosting is something internal to Kubernetes. It enables us to browse the administrative console. So it is basically for the kube default pods, so to use them. So that's basically what is configured over here. And this service here, which you can see over here, is basically what we are configured as part of this particular file. Your cluster IP service. So if I do a cat on this file, so you can see that that's the name of the service, my service one, and that's a cluster IP over here, and this is the IP address of the cluster. Now what it is routing right now, it is looking for, if you just do kubectl describe and then give service svc slash the service name, sorry. So I give the service name over here, and you can actually see the endpoints configured for this service, and as well as what it is actually looking for. What it is selector is looking for is app equal to Sterling. So you see 3 applications with the same application called app Sterling. So you kind of see all these endpoints over here. So now, normally, if you see that deployment will also carry the service as well as part of one single file. Normally, people don't deploy it in 2 different files. We will talk about it slowly when we go to that stage. But at this stage, let's do this deployment separately, and I'll show you how to, put them all together into one file and then do the deployment for that. So we will talk about that in some time. But then what I want you to understand is that now this is going to be the exact same kind of a service which we have seen before in terms of load balancer. The difference between this and the load balancer is that this one has the IP address for you to browse it internally, but there is no node port number, which means that you cannot browse this externally. So if I'm trying to use this IP address, which is external access from my laptop, I'll not be able to browse this application, okay, because it doesn't have a port number established for me. So as you can see, the target port is 80 and the current port set to 80. So I can use this curl command to browse this application with this IP address. And this IP address is a cluster IP address, which means that this is all going to be part of that IP address. So either one of the servers will be responding when I type this curl command with the IP address of the cluster IP address. So this is the first thing we wanted to see. Now let's remove this particular service. So to remove this service, very simple command. So the command doesn't change much often. So it's going to be kubectl delete. And then here, instead of deploy, we give service. And then we give the name of the service from here. And there you go. So that service should have been removed right now. So you don't see that service no more. Thank you guys for watching this video. In the next video, we will be looking at, another one called node port. So we will see that on the next video.